Hi, today's title of Morning Revelation is You've Got the Power. And I realized that it actually piggybacked on the Morning Revelation from a couple days ago. But the Lord said, You've got the power. So He was reminding me of how we have all power and dominion. And like in the post that I made the other day, we talked about how the enemy is not our equal, right? But then God showed me something else this morning. He said, um, so in the garden, the enemy took the power, like he took dominion, right? But when Jesus went to the cross, he took back all power, all authority, all dominion in its totality, right? And then he handed it to us. He basically gave us access through Jesus Christ to this power. He gave us the Holy Spirit on the inside of us, which is power, right? And so then the Lord said, He said, it was like a big brother coming back to take your stuff from a bully who stole it from you. Think about what happened in the garden. He literally stole it from them because he deceived you. He literally deceived her, right? So he stole it. A thief isn't going to just walk up to you and say, hey, I'm about to steal your stuff. They're going to be cunning, deceptive. They're going to sneak in while you're gone. They're going to fool you. They're going to do all these things, right? So he stole it from her. He took it from her by deception, basically by force, right? So when the Lord said that, immediately I had this memory of a childhood memory. And those of you who know me, I'm a middle child, or I have a younger brother. And then at the age of 12, I ended up no longer being the middle child, but the second oldest child. But anyway, at that time, I was the middle child, and I have an older sister and a younger brother. And so one day, my younger brother, who at the time we called Junior, he explained to me that a girl in his that rode the bus to summer school had whipped him. She beat him with her belt. Now, again, if any of you knew us when we were younger, your thought might have been, well, he probably earned his whipping. And I almost didn't put this part in as God was talking to me this morning about sharing this. But he said this. So even though my brother may have earned his whipping because of what he said back to this girl, she didn't have any business whipping him because she was not his sister, his mother, or anyone who had the authority to whip him. So just like this girl didn't have a right to whip my brother, the enemy doesn't have a right to beat up on you. He doesn't have a right to come and try to take what's yours because he really doesn't have access to it. He can't. We have to give it over to him, right? But nonetheless, this girl had no right to whip my brother because, well, she wasn't his sister. He was my brother, right? Same thing is, and that's how God looks at it. Like he's not going to let the enemy have a victory over you. So Jesus came to the earth and gave us back the things the enemy had stolen. So this story of this girl whipping my brother, he told me what happened. And also those of you who may have known me when we were younger knew that I was not the girl to go and start fights, right? But that day when my brother told me that this girl had whipped him, I said to my mom, I said, I want to go with you when you pick Junior up from school. And she said, okay. So I watched the clock. I watched the clock. I watched the clock. I colored and I watched the clock. I colored and I watched the clock. And so I also was in this Madonna phase. And you can judge me because I said Madonna is whatever, Jesus knows. And anyway, I was in this Madonna phase. And what that means is like Madonna and Cyndi Lauper, they wore all these studded belts, right? And so my parents, bless their souls, they were with me through every phase of from being the Black Madonna to being a rapper with the Fat Boy laces and all this other crazy stuff, right? So needless to say, I had a bunch of belts. And I decided that I would probably have more belts than this girl because one, if she still wore a belt that day, she was only prepared to wear a belt to hold her pants up. I was coming with a mission and a purpose to whip her back, to take back my brother's respect, to take back everything he lost that day that she decided to whip him on the school bus. So I get up a little bit earlier before my mom's getting ready to go, and I'm wrapping my belts around my waist and around around my thigh because that's what we did back then when we were trying to be Madonna and Cyndi Lauper, right? And so I put on all these belts. None of them matched my clothes. And so I should have known that was going to stand out. And at the time, my cousin Victoria was spending the night with us. We called her Vicky. And She said, Dee Dee, what are you doing? That's my nickname. And I whispered to her, I said, Junior told me that this girl beat him yesterday with her belt on the bus. I didn't need to say anything else. My cousin was like right in the closet, pulling belts out, wrapping multiple belts around her waist. My older sister, Jennifer, walks in. She's putting belts around her waist. And my cousin said, Auntie, sister, we're going to go with you to pick up Junior. And my mama was like, I don't know what y'all three up to, but okay. So we get in the car. My mom pulls up to the school. And my parents at the time had a 2-door vehicle. So if you know anything about 2-door vehicles, you got to lean the seat up for the people in the back seat to get out. And we were children, so we didn't ride in the front seat. Well, my sister and my cousin jumped out before the car stopped good, and they hightailed it to the bus. And the bus was like coming onto the property, but we were like getting parked, and they were hightailing it. And my mama was in the seat in front of me. And I was like, she's like, I don't know what y'all doing, but you're not getting out this car. And I was determined. I was going to get back my brother's dignity that day. And so I'll be honest with you, I pushed the seat up on my mama just enough to get, not a whole bunch. I didn't shove her into the steering wheel, but just enough to slide out between the seat and the seat belt and push past her while her door was cracked. And I ran up on the bus. So you're probably thinking, oh my, like how did this story end? Well, I'll tell you, I got on the bus, the front part of the bus. My cousin had ran around the bus, and I'm thinking, where is she going? Well, honestly, she had a view that I did not have. She had a view that let her see that the girl had somehow, she jumped off the bus and went out the back door, which is a story I got when I started questioning people. Who beat my brother? Which one? Junior, which one is it? And he's like, she's gone. And another girl said, she saw y'all coming, so she jumped out the back door of the bus and ran home. I'm sharing this story that seems like this childhood foolishness to share a few things with you. For one, Jesus came and he took your stuff back from the enemy. 2, God is not going to let the enemy continue to run you, beat you, drag you, mess with your mind, secretly torment you in your thoughts and in your mind, and not cause him to answer. God gave you the power. So it's time for you to use the power. Because see, even though that girl thought she took the power by whipping my brother, what she failed to realize is that my brother didn't just use his mouth to be slick with people. He used it to talk to his big sister. And so he spoke to his big sister, and his big sister said, I've got it from here. So what we need to do, whatever your situation is today, you have the power, because Jesus took the power back and he has all power. And we have the right to go to God and to talk to him. He says, come to my throne boldly. Come and ask me, come talk to me, come and receive, because he delights in blessing us. He delights in standing up to defend us. He will even tell us to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. That day, all my brother had to do was stand still and watch the 3 of us go after this girl. The result of that was this. That girl didn't even go back to summer school. She wouldn't even get on the bus. I am declaring that there are some things that God is about to turn around in your life, that you don't even ever have to worry about what it looks like in the past. You don't have to worry about how the enemy whipped you in this situation before, because you're being delivered from it. Completely delivered from your addictions, completely delivered from those toxic mindsets and thoughts. You're being completely delivered in this season from it. Don't go back looking for it, because you won't even be able to find it. You won't even be able to find the attraction that you had to that particular thing, because you have the power. And because God has given us that power, I choose to just prophetically decree those things over your life in Jesus' name, and to believe that they are already done. Well, that's morning motivation. And so I will see you guys next time whenever God directs me to make another morning revelation video. I will share that revelation with you. But until then, know that I'm praying for you. Know that you can drop your prayer request down below the video. If you're on Facebook or Insta, you can DM us your prayer request. You can also email us at prayers@vivianbell.com. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, you can also drop your prayer request in the comments or send your prayer request to the email Again, that's prayers@vivianbell.com, and we'll be praying for you. God bless you and have a wonderful week.